here. It's so exciting that you're here. If I see your face on video, it's always so fun to connect. Oh my God, welcome. And we are now streaming on Facebook. So I am very excited today, you guys, because I want to do a very no fluff training for you guys. Like, I don't know, some of you, it might be your first time in my world, but I really want to deliver something that's extremely potent, extremely valuable, extremely to the point today. There's no big production with this. This isn't a masterclass. There's no big funnel. There's no big opt-in. I saw some things on the internet today and I was like, you know what? I have some value that I want to deliver. And I really just want to help you guys build your business. Like, that's all that this really is. So what I will say, we are streaming on Facebook as well. If you're on Facebook, hello. If you want to come on Zoom, the Zoom information is in the Facebook group. I'm only seeing the comments and the chat on Zoom during this time. And so I won't be seeing any feedback on the live stream. So if you are on the live stream, please comment because I will be able to see it after. But just right now, I am seeing the interaction on the Zoom. And even though this is a training that I'm going to deliver and give you a lot of information, if you're here live with me, I do love to respond to feedback. That doesn't mean that I'll be able to answer every single question, but if you're here with me live and something comes up for you, whether it's like you're resonating or you have a question or whatever based off of what I'm saying, please feel free to make use of this live time. And if you're here and you have to jump off for whatever reason, this replay will stay inside of the It's Exogenji Facebook community, and I'll keep it there forever. So you can go refer back to it and it will be perfect. So I'm very excited today to talk to you guys. This was actually inspired by, and maybe this is why you're here. I got on Instagram this morning. Don't judge me what time I turn on my Instagram. I wake up early, so don't judge me. I got up on Instagram at like 5:30 and I'm like, oh, I saw multiple posts from multiple coaches saying that sales were down. And so it's interesting because I've had some clients over the last little bit say like, oh, sales are low, right? And so that's the context of why I decided to do this. But I want to make it very clear from the beginning, like, this is nothing for anyone to be frantic about. Like, and I would love to know right now in the chat, if you're noticing sales are down for you, and there's no right or wrong answer, just let me know where you're at. If there is ever a trend happening in the industry, I think it's very important to practice discernment. Like, if sales are low right now, you don't need to freak out. If there's people talking about sales being low right now, that doesn't actually mean that your sales are going to be down. So let's not create a story that's not a story. And I wanted to start with that because I know that it's very easy in the online space to just like see a few people talk about things and then all of a sudden like, oh my God, is this a thing, right? It might be a thing for some of you, and that's why you're here, but it might not also be a thing for some of you. But the information I have for you today is going to help you whether sales are down or not. Like, this is just what it is. So I want to make it very clear that there's a difference between sales have always been down and they're still down versus, and I laugh but this is a legit thing, versus compared to last year, compared to 3 months ago or 6 months ago, there's actually a dip. So I would love to know, if you're here, listen, sales have always been down, just I need anything I can get, or actually there's a noticeable difference. So I would love to know if you want to share with me, sales have been down, sales are low, or at least down. I actually didn't know others were experiencing that too. I try to keep my blinders on, totally. So there's a difference between I'm new and sales are slow because I'm new, or I'm still in the beginning stages, right? So just to know the difference, I think, is very important. And I also want to share this with you. When I'm actually talking about sales, and I should do a better job with the language, but I'm actually talking about enrollment numbers. So what I mean by this is you could still have a very high cash month, but enrollment numbers be down. Right? I'm talking about signups. I'm talking about numbers. I'm not actually talking about cash, And so what I mean by this is you could have a dip in number of enrollment in your programs, but you could have the highest cash month ever because you sold one big high ticket, right? So again, I just want to bring forward these kinds of terms that we use, and this is what I mean by it. So I mean enrollment numbers down in programs. That's actually what I saw people say, not necessarily cash is down. Now, obviously, if number of enrollment is down, then that might affect cash, but you might have other things going for you in your business, and we're going to talk all about this. Mine are good. I'm just here for the energy. I love it. There's a noticeable dip. Sales are down, but I pivoted. Absolutely. I'm new. The other thing that I want to say, there's so many things, right? But there are so many reasons why sales are sometimes high or sometimes low. And I think it's really important to remember this as businesses, as entrepreneurs, and especially when we're consuming content and trainings. And I am a business coach and I do teach strategy. And in my content, I talk about how-tos. Even have discernment when you're consuming my content and when you're consuming this training today, because it's never just this or that. It's like, how long have you been in business? What is your niche? What is this? What is that? What is your energy? What is your sales? It's so many different things. And we often forget this. And that's why it's also important to remember that any massive high or massive low, it's just, okay, take it as I can, do what I can, and then move forward. Like nothing is ever extreme. So I wanted to start with that context because it's just very important. I have built a business and I'm already jumping right in, you guys. Like, this is not a masterclass where I'm like, hi, my name is Stephanie and this is blah, blah, blah. Like, we don't care. Like, I don't even care. I'm just here to give you guys this value. But I do want to share with you that I have been able to create the amount of high cash months I have in my business because when I started to have very high cash months, I didn't put them on a pedestal. So I wasn't like, oh my God, one big high cash month, I made it. I've always looked at it from a very neutral energy of like, well, I want to figure out how to sustain it. So a problem that I see happen in the industry is we get really excited when there's a high, but we don't actually know why we created the high. And then I've seen a lot of, maybe this has happened to you, like you have a high, but you don't really know why it happened. And then you don't sustain it. And then it's like, well, shit, right? It's like, well, what's happening, right? So I'm someone who I work really hard for myself, for my clients, and how I teach to look at it all from a very business lens, because it's so easy to get caught up in like, ooh, it happened once and now it's just going to keep happening. Like, that's just not reality. So I have been since day one promoting this very entrepreneurial mindset, this realistic mindset that we need to have when building our businesses. And it's like something that I was just like, good job, Steph. When I saw people like making these claims about sales being low, I'm like, I just want to help people build something sustainable, because there's always going to be ups and downs. But when you focus on sustainability and there are ups and downs in the industry, you're still going to be stable because you built something rock solid. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So the first piece that I want to talk to you about is if you are here and you're noticing a dip, and that's you. This dip, whether it's been a month, a couple months, or whatever, this dip or this low is bringing forward, and it's exposing a lot of things to you just of how you're navigating the dip. So emotionally, if there's a dip in your business right now, emotionally, this is exposing lack of emotional intelligence or good emotional intelligence. This is exposing, have you been having attachment to numbers and results and money or not, right? Like, if you have been attaching your worthiness, your happiness, your success, your validation to numbers, and all of a sudden those numbers are down, oh, that's going to expose, well, then there's something happening there. Is this exposing lack of emotional intelligence as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, because of just these facts happening, how you're reacting to it? And again, if you want to share any feedback in the chat, it just helps me know, like, yes, yes, I am a hot mess, or no, I'm good. Like, whatever is coming up for you. I would love to know. Insecurity, vulnerability, attachment to like status. If there's a dip, like, oh, I've been placing how I've been feeling about my leadership, like, because I'm so good and constantly growing, and then all of a sudden there's a dip. Like, is there any of that going on? And it's just noticing, and then saying, ooh, this is happening. Now I need to clean this up. Now I need to strengthen this. What it probably is exposing those things, yes, no, maybe, doesn't really matter. It's more so exposing lack of business structure and strategy. If this is you, let me know. There, ooh, what's happening here? Ooh, there's a disconnect. Ooh, oh, if I focused on this piece or this piece or this piece a little bit more, maybe this wouldn't be happening. Maybe right away you're like, shit, I should have had a better sales strategy. I should have had a better launch strategy. I should have been collecting emails as well. I should have figured out how to sell, like not just on social media, but over here. Ooh, right? Like, what is it exposing that right away you learned, oh, I could have been implementing this. And if I was, then this would be different right now. We learn so much just from what this exposes. Lack of business structure, lack of rhythm, right? This rhythm, and we're going to talk about it. So just notice if this has exposed anything, whether it's more of an emotional intelligence piece, mindset piece, or a strategy piece, that right away, this, you just know, I need to make a change. This is something that we have to be able to navigate as business owners and entrepreneurs. I know you know this, but sometimes we need this reminder, is like, businesses, you know, industries are always going to have ups and downs. So we have to be the people that can be built to handle these ups and downs, and be the kind of people that can be resourceful and just figure it out and not get all in our emotions in our head and all these different things, because this is just what we've signed up for. And so oftentimes people who, you know, oftentimes you're coach first, you're not entrepreneur first, right? You're a coach because of the work that you do, and you're like, oh, I'm still figuring out this business thing or this entrepreneur piece. It's like, if you're going to wear all the hats, this is just part of it. And this is just navigating life and business. Okay. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Brand is number one. I'm going to say this. I've said it since I started. I'm going to say it here. I'm going to say it till the end of my time. Brand is number one. What do I mean by brand? What do I mean by this? People are always going to buy from the brand that stands out, the brand that the brand that they resonate with, the brand that gives them value, the brand that's consistent. Brand is number one, because brand means that we are top of mind. Think of the brands that you always buy from in the coaching space or not. You just go to them because they're always there. And so they built a reputation. So this is a sign now more than ever, especially if there is a dip in sales or whatever's happening. It's like, okay, like, have I built that reputation that I am the go-to person to buy from? Who are you? What do you stand for? What makes you different? What do you do? Like, this brand piece of community, of consistent value, of consistent content, of consistent nurturing, but not even consistency. It's the potency and the consistency of your message. Who are you and why are you valuable? That over and over again, all day, every day. Like, narrow that in. Why you? What makes you different? You are the known expert for what? Right? Insanely educational, entertaining, and connecting content on our feed, on Instagram, but also this community piece of live streams, Facebook community, whatever, how you can go deeper with people. Brand plus community. Brand plus community. How do you feel like you are doing with this right now? It is not competitive in the sense of, like, I don't think that we're saturated. I don't think that we're in competition with each other. I don't believe in that. But what I want us to do, or what I want you to do, is like really ask yourself, like, why me? Why am I the one in your niche? Like, why you? What's the thing? You leverage your personality, your story, your point of difference, and make that so exciting, so clear in your content, where it's like every day, if you don't show up on people's feed, they're going to search you because they're looking for you. They're missing out because you're the one that's different. You're the one that makes them feel. We can, all of us can do better at this. You know what I mean? And this comes down to everything from the content, the education, the messaging, the videos, the pictures, our brand, like the way that the visuals look, like our reels, our personality, all of it. It's like asking yourself, how can I be more me? And how can I really show people like I'm the one to invest in because I am blah, blah, blah. There was a big shift in my coaching business in the middle of 2020. And one of the things when I look back, like, ooh, what happened here? I started to get really crystal clear on my brand. And so brand is often a reflection of our own personal development, like our own ability to see ourselves and be able to then display that on social media. And that's why it is a strategy thing, but it's also an energetic thing because it is a reflection of confidence. It is a reflection of you seeing yourself. It is a reflection of you being able to, share who you are, but translate that into content. And so that is a journey for sure, but you're here listening to this. This gets to be a moment where you're like, where can I go deeper? Where am I not truly showing up? How can I be more me in my messaging? Messaging is everything. Is your copy on your Instagram post, does it sound like every other coach in your niche? Or does it sound like you? Right? Like, if it sounds like every other coach, then we're just going to follow every other coach and you. But people are going to follow you when it sounds like you because it's your personality. It's like, how would you actually say it? How are you actually coaching it behind the scenes? Like little things like this that are subtle, but they make a big difference. And it's almost like things that we don't often think about because it's just like make the post and go. But it's like, it's not just that. It's like, how can we go a little bit deeper? This goes a long way, right? So everyday consistent feed content, short form, and long form content, nurturing consistently, being the one that people go to. But also I would love to know where you are with this, is consistently having a social media strategy that also positions content to be growing your audience regularly. So we're consistently nurturing our audience by putting out the content that I hope you're putting out, daily content. Okay, that's the bare minimum at this point, right? Daily content, nurturing the people that are there, but having some kind of growth strategy in place where, it's shareable content, or, you're doing giveaways. So then people are tagging or things like this. So then you've constantly got a way for new people to be finding you, and you're constantly nurturing the people that are there. This is something that I really prioritize in my business, is the brand piece, the content piece, the growth piece of like literally every day something gets shared, new people can find me, but at the same time, there's insane nurturing of the people that have always been here and the people that are here. When we can focus on both of these things at the same time, do you see how this funnels just constant new people in, and then people who are already clients are paying in your world, but they're staying? So it's like this piece of the social media. Yes, it's not about having new people finding you and following you all day, every day. You don't need 100 million followers, but there needs to be consistent growth in the audience. So then that's consistently funneling new people. And then at the same time, and we'll talk about this a little bit deeper in a minute, but like then people who are paying to be in your world, they have a great experience, they stay, whether that's continuing, however that looks in your world. How this funnel is amazing, because I'm just blowing my own mind right here of how I break this down for you guys, because it just makes me so happy. And when I say it to you, then I get re-excited about these things. Like, yeah, Steph, go do this yourself again, but better, right? When even through dips, whether they're industry dips, and who knows what this is, like I'm not going to extremes, but when there are dips and you have a business model already set up of people are always coming in and people are staying, you're not going to have as much of a dip, because there's reoccurring income, there's people staying. They're like, they've already built the trust with you that they're willing to sign up for the things. So maybe then if people are maybe investing in coaching new coaches with a little more hesitation, you can hold that for a season, because you got people who are already in your world who are like, sign me up, pay in full for another 3 years, right? Like, do you see how this journey makes sense when we think about it like this? But if we're not focusing on content and brand, then we're stopping the new people coming in to nurture that relationship. Or if we're not focused on the relationship of the people in our world, then we're stopping that reoccurring income. And then it's like, wait, then there's what? So this flow, in my opinion, it works really well in terms of strategy and keeping consistency, but this flow feels very good for me energetically because I'm not relying on one thing. I've got many different things working for me. So when we're only relying on one thing or one funnel or one sales process or one offer, it's like, well, if that goes down, then you're screwed, right? But when you've like, okay, I've got this coming in, I've got this, then it's like something over here can have a dip, but you can still maintain whatever kind of balance because you've got other things working for you. So I wanted to break that down for you guys a little bit, but the big piece here is when it comes to brand and when people, or if people are becoming more selective on who they are investing in, people are going to invest in the person that stands out, that is unique, that they resonate with, that is consistent, and is just known. Make yourself known even more on social media as the industry leader, the expert that you are, and claim that space, right? When you find someone on social media and you resonate with them, you're learning from them, you feel an energy of leadership. Like they just package themselves as like, I'm a leader, I'm an expert, and here I am. You can feel that, the way that it's put together. Put yourself together in that kind of way, or if you already are, maybe there's just a little bit of a refinement. And that speaks volumes. Be the leader that you are. And the leader piece is like, go a little bit above and beyond. Okay. And there's a way to do this in a very, 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 very sustainable way. But it is everyday educational content. And think of your content and think of your brand as for them, not for you. A lot of people struggle with this. People are following coaches because they want an answer, they want information, and so we often get in our heads of like, yeah, but I'm insecure. I get it. Yeah, but I don't feel good. Yeah, but and we're all on our own journey, but at the same time, we are a brand which is for other people. Your brand is for them. So the way that I've been able to stay very consistent with content and with information and with delivering is it's not about me, Steph, it's about you. So if it's about you, then I know what educational piece I'm going to post today or what thing I'm going to say. It's not about me. I take care of you behind the scenes, deliver for your audience, like show up for it like it's a job, because it is, right? So this brand piece really focus on, okay? And it's so funny that I'm like, this is one of these trainings that's like, even though I whipped this up today, I'm like, I've got notes because I'm like, I want it to be so potent. So I'm just going through them, covering everything that I want in this order. Okay. This might be a sign, again, whether you're experiencing a dip or not. Do you feel like there is something missing in your sales strategy? Right now, do you just have like one sales strategy? Do you have multiple sales strategies? Do you have different sales strategies for different offers? Like, or you're like, Steph, I'm just selling, putting up a link. Like what, like, you know what I mean? This might be a time where you're like, the way that I'm selling on Instagram story is not working the same that it was 6 months ago or a year ago. What is this showing us? It's showing us that maybe people are buying differently, or people are thinking a little bit more before they're buying. Or now it's like, okay, if this feels good, but there's a dip in the way that you're selling on Instagram story, do you have a way that you're selling on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, or your other platforms, on your podcast? Are you leveraging an email list? I started to talk about this a lot more last year. I really want to see us all leverage email. Email. We're on social media. It's the place to be. It's where you're probably going to make most of your sales. It's where people find you and build that connection. But I want you to build your own list, and I want you to find an aligned way to be able to nurture and sell to that list, because I really think more people are going to be buying through email. And it saves you. You own that list. You always have it. Social media is going to do its thing. It's always going to change. The algorithms can change. Like, it's just, It's just a reality that we have to face. So if we're always constantly focusing on one thing to sell, what if social media changes Instagram stories? How are you going to sell? What are you going to do? Right? It's like, oh, and I'm not saying this to scare you. Like, it's clearly not going away, but it's just something to think about. And so in an industry where, yes, we're always going to be selling on social media, we're all buying on social media, that's the thing. I want you all to feel protected. Like, I've got a list and I'm going to nurture that list. I'm going to show myself I can sell on that list. So then my eggs aren't all in this one basket of only selling over here. Okay. So when I say sales strategy, do you have a process of how you're launching your different offers? And this looks different, and it should look different for every kind of offer, right? The way you sell a mastermind is not necessarily the same way that you would sell a masterclass or a signature program. The way that you sell an evergreen offer is not the same as how you would sell an offer that has a start date and an end date, and then you're done selling it. The way that you sell stuff that's passive on your website and automated is going to be different than maybe how you sell a 3-month program, right? So it's just like, do you have a launch strategy? Do you know how you are bringing forward your offers to your audience and what you're doing throughout the period of time that you're selling it? Okay, that's just what I would think about. Number one, do you have some kind of process right now? Yes or no? If no, I would look at getting one, finding one. If yes, and it's not working, or it could be working better, I would ask yourself, was it working in the past? And then up until when has it stopped working the same? Just noticing any difference. And are there tweaks to the strategy that you could implement? So what I mean by that is, do you maybe feel like you need a longer time to launch something? Do you feel like you want to add in a free masterclass to launch? Do you want to add in a pre-sale and early bird at full price? Do you want to add in bonuses, right? It's like little things like that to think about, what are different strategies do you feel like you could just play with and start to implement? I will say this as well. The way that we sell is different for everyone because everyone has a different audience, back to the brand thing. So we need to focus on building through content a hot audience, because those are the people who buy quickly within our launch strategy. And a launch strategy should support all different kinds of buyers. The hot audience who's going to buy right away, but also the people who are like, I need more information and time to think about this. The last minute buyers, the buyers who need a bonus to then buy, right? So our content nurtures our audience to build trust in a relationship. Our launch strategy displays our offer and gives different touch points and opportunities for people to buy based off of the different buying styles. But right now, if you just throw up a link on your Instagram story, that's the way to sell to a hot audience. So if that's not working for you, it's because like, oh, not everyone in my audience is hot. Or maybe that just works for you at the beginning of a launch, and then everyone who's hot buys, and then it's like there's no other buyers happening. That's because there's a different way to sell for a colder audience or people who need more time. But so a lot of people think like launching is just throw up a link and people buy. Launching is about nurturing different buyer types for different offers, and every offer needs to be sold in a little bit of a different way. Okay, so that's my little launch strategy, sales strategy in a nutshell, to help you, just things to think about. Now, bringing it back to the piece, that's when we're selling on our social media, right? That's like our sales process on our social media. With a very strong client journey, your clients probably don't need you to pitch them anything. They just keep signing up, or there's, you know what I mean? There's a continuation, or they keep re-signing, or whatever this looks like for your business model. So again, how we have different moving parts working for us is when we have a forward sales strategy on our content, but you've got a great client journey, then behind the scenes, people are buying and continuing. So you see how it's never just relying on current clients. It's never just relying on the social media. It's both together. So you might have a season where clients fall off. No big deal. You've got new people coming in. You might have a season where no new people are coming in, but clients are staying. we win in my world in every situation when we build a business with this model. And that's when it's like, when things like this happen, whatever this is for some of you, right? Then you're like, I'm good because I've got this playing for me over here. And let me just refine this. This is entrepreneurship. This is business. Always refinement. Oh, this is working. Okay. Oh, this isn't. How can I fix this? Okay, this is working. Is there anything that we can do better over here? This is literally how I build my business. It's like, what's working? Amazing. Can we make this better? We just leave it. Okay. What is not working the best? Okay, let's look at it. Let's talk about it. Let's think about it. Let's contemplate it. It's never extremes. It's just like, let's try this. We try it and then it works or it doesn't. But also with this trying piece, you guys, whether it's a sales strategy or content or anything, all of this needs time. Because a lot of coaches are evaluating whether something is working or not through doing it once. That's not the way. It's like, Steph, I made a shareable piece of content. No one shared it. Okay, do it again and again and do it for 6 months straight. Then come back to me, right? Okay, Steph, I sold this way once. Well, it didn't really work. Well, do it again. Then let's see, do it again. Then let's, right? So a lot of us are still playing in this. I'm going to try it once, didn't work. Then I'm going to stop trying it. We've got to try things, but replicate it to actually know is something happening or not. And so sometimes we, for whatever reason, we're jumping around and not consistent with what we're doing. Nothing is going to work if we're not consistent. Okay. So maybe this is bringing forward to you, whether again, you're in a dip or you're not, or whatever. It's like, oh, I'm not even giving things a chance to work. Give things a chance to work. We always want to jump from thing to thing, and it's not about that. Business is always consistency. And when we focus on consistency through ups and downs in seasons, we're still going to maintain some kind of middle ground, which is going to be fantastic. Okay. So the one other thing that I had on my notes around the sales strategy that I wanted to say is a daily sales strategy and like a launch strategy. So we should just be thinking of like, how are you making sales daily, consistently, whether you're in a formal launch or not? Are you putting it out there, ways for people to easily be like, oh, I could buy this? Obviously, this looks different for everyone, depending on your business model and what you have. But I think that there should be a way, this comes in brand awareness as well, but like a way for us to every day be putting out offers and people easily being able to buy. And that's different than being in like a launch for this your big signature program that's happening next month. You know what I mean? So just things to think about. And if you add in maybe email marketing, this or that, then you can see how these all will work together and you'll create sales from all different touch points, a launch, social media, online, offline, all of these different things. Okay. It's interesting because I don't know all the answers, and the way that my brain works is I love to just notice like what's happening, what things are shifting, all these different things. So there might be a time, and again, I don't know data. I don't know the coaching industry. I know the data based off of my Instagram story. Like, it's, you know what I mean? So that is very minimal compared to like people like to talk in extremes. But what I'm getting at is there may be a time where people are not as willing to invest certain price points. I don't know, right? Again, this depends on your niche. It depends on so many different things. If there's a season, this is a scenario I've made up in my mind, that people don't want to invest a couple $1,000s, do you have offers that are lower than that to support them? And do you have offers that are way higher than that to support the people who want to go way high ticket? I don't know, just throwing out a scenario. If there was a situation where people like, I'm no longer spending multi 6 figures or 5 figures on high ticket, do you have a scenario where it's like you could support people and bring in income at a different price point? So you get to have a business however you want to have a business. I find it extremely smart to have a business model with offers at different price points. Because then again, back to the way that we're selling in different ways, offers at different price points allow you to make sales for people who are ready to invest at different levels. And that honestly is such a good business move, and it makes sense and it feels really, really good. So right now, like do you really only have high ticket, or do you only have low ticket? Or do you feel like you have, I like to look at things as like low, mid, and high, right? And so, you know, it is true that if you're selling a low ticket thing, $100 thing, yeah, if you have low enrollment, you're not going to be making 100K from your $100 masterclass. But with time and branding and audience growth, that could absolutely build. Even like mid-level, a couple $1,000s or whatever your mid-level stuff is, you know, 1 or 2 people, that's amazing. That's a few $1,000s, but with brand and reputation and all of these different things, that could lead to insane amounts of income, right? Obviously, it's amazing. High ticket, if you have high ticket in your world and it's just 1 or 2 people signing up, your close proximity, high ticket stuff, amazing. For me, don't ever like to rely on one thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to rely on, well, to make your goal, you have to sell X amount of high ticket. Like, there's no way. That's not how it works in my world. I just can't. It's not what it is. Oh, to get X amount, you have to sell X amount in here. Like, no, I build a business model that I have different touch points in my different levels of offers, and I can deliver in different kinds of ways. And the price point matches the different kind of offer, and how it all adds up feels good to me, how it all adds up together. So I'm never relying on one way or another. So I would just look at your business model. And what I mean by business model is your offers right now. Do you feel like there's something missing in your offer suite, like a certain price point that you feel like if I added in this price point, that might feel good? Now, again, similar to the sales strategy thing, if you add in a new kind of offer, it is going to be trial and error, and you're going to need time for it to build and grow. If you're used to only doing high ticket and you bring in low ticket, your audience might be like, well, what the hell is going on? They might need a minute to catch up. Same with vice versa. But this, it takes a minute to catch up, but this will give you longevity and freedom in the future when you have all these different price points working for you. I am in a program right now, and this is not a pitch for my program, but I'm all about pitching it anyways. But we are in Offer Incubator right now, where I go in depth about this. And I was doing a Q&A today, and I was going in depth about how, now I'm like, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Like, what was I saying? Offer Incubator, different price points, trial and error. Why did I lose my train of thought? Something was so good right there. That's why I brought it up. I just wanted to plug it in. I swear I didn't just want to plug it in. It will come back to me. It will come back to me. Oh, this is what I was saying. I got it. It's here. I just need to pause for a minute. We had a little bit of a conversation around like, does low ticket devalue your brand and all this stuff? Like, people get so in their heads of like, if I charge low ticket, then no high ticket people are going to pay for, like, are going to want to hire me because people, you know, all these different things that I'm just like, listen, I sell $99 offers, and I also receive 6-figure pay in fulls. So no, right? But I'm like, because I sell $99 masterclasses does not mean that people don't want to pay high ticket for my one-to-one. They know that one-to-one is a very different thing. You know what I mean? So we get all in our heads and we create these situations that aren't even true. And it's like, I don't want to say ruining, lack of better term, ruining our businesses when we get in our heads about all these different things, right? So you can have a business model that has a very polished brand, and you have high ticket and mid ticket and low ticket, and it gets to be amazing, right? Like, I think that we're really in a space where high level, whatever that even means, established people want to buy a low ticket masterclass because it's $99 because it's an hour training. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not like, oh, it's only $99. I don't want to buy that. Like, I see this language on social media all the time, and it makes me mad because it's giving just not a correct message when it comes to business. You know what I mean? So you can have these high ticket exclusive containers, and you can have low ticket, and you can scale them all. You can scale them all. It is the most incredible thing for me where I am now in my life. And this is why I'm still so fired up to teach all the things that I teach is, you guys, when you see all your different offers of all different price points consistently be selling, and you have reoccurring income, and not all your eggs are in one basket, like that is the most freeing thing. That's what I want for us all. And so it takes a minute to get there, but like when you get there, you actually have freedom, and you built your coaching business to share your work with the world, but also to have freedom. So this hamster wheel kind of thing will stop when it's like, let me focus on scalable offers, selling them in a correct way, the consistency and the brand piece. The refinement of all of it over time. We've always got people coming in, we've always got people selling or staying. Now, with that being said, and I would just love to know if you want to share in the chat or if you're on Facebook, how do you feel like you are with your client journey when it comes to offers? Do you have, clear upsells, downsells? How is your client journey, your client retention? What is that looking like? My business in 2019 and 2020, I had a retention rate of like 80, 90%. It was wild. I did not have audience growth. I did not have new people coming in every launch, every program. I had people staying and a few new people coming in, but people staying when they came in, because I wasn't focused on, oh my God, I always need more people. I was focused on, let's just give a good experience. And then let's create a no-brainer way for people to just stay. But I wasn't focused on how do I get people to stay? It was like, well, what's the next step? You give people the next step, they stay. You have you give people a good experience, they stay, they continue. That needs to be a priority in your business. And when you focus on that, I mean, your delivery gets better, your offers get better, your experiences get better, people stay. And then this flow that I'm talking about is just remarkable, right? So this might be a time where it's like, wow, if new sales coming in are slow, I'm so happy that I've got a client journey where it's like the people who are in, they're staying anyways. There's, if you had reoccurring income already built, you wouldn't even notice a dip, because you're like, well, I've got X amount coming in all the time. You're like, I didn't even know that there was a dip, right? So this is just a moment to notice like, oh, where can I add in these things? So then in the future, if this happens, I won't even notice. By the way, reoccurring income comes through building a client journey. So I talk about reoccurring income a lot. And the question then people want to ask me is like, how do I build it? You build it through focusing on the client journey. So I didn't sit down a few years ago and say, how am I going to build reoccurring income? I never even thought of that. I never once. I focused on, what do I want my offer suite to look like? How do I want to support the client journey? What's the next step? And I did that, and that built reoccurring income. Obviously, there can be refinement with your offers and your sales strategy to like intentionally build it, but that's how you get to it. So I know I talk about it a lot. I know a lot of coaches talk about it a lot because it's a good thing, but you're going to drive yourself wild if you sit down and be like, how do I build reoccurring income? Like, because it takes time to build. And this is where it comes into the consistency piece, but it will not build if you don't have scalable offers, if you don't have a client journey, and you don't have consistency with funneling people in your world through free content coming into your world and having, whether it's just different programs or the upgrade coming into higher level offers or whatever that looks like. Okay. Now I'm just trying to wrap it up into like a bow for you guys to see, and let me know how this is landing as well. When you've got different kinds of offers, different price points, and you focus on the client journey, it doesn't really matter how quickly people move in your world, because you've got so much going for you that they're all coming in at different points and they're moving through their own journey at different points that you don't need to stress about that, right? So I think sometimes maybe people are taught like, get everyone in this, and then you must sell everyone into this. No. Some people aren't ready to come into this. Yes, sell the next thing, and the people who are ready will join. The people who aren't, will not join, or they'll stay in that kind of level of offer. So there's no room for us as creators, as coaches, as entrepreneurs to get all up in our head about what people are doing or not doing. Everyone's timeline is different. Everyone's level of investment is different. Everyone's whatever is different. Let that go. Focus on inviting people to the next step, but always having steps at different levels of price points to meet people where they're at. It is the most beautiful thing in the world when people are like, Steph, I can only come in your $99 classes, but I'll be in every single one of them for a year. And 3 years later, they make it into $1,000 program. Like, I'm so happy. But then at the same time, there's people who are like, I just found you, get me in everything now. Let's go. Amazing. But I don't rely on one or the other. I have all of the different ways open. So I'm like, cool. When you're ready for this, let's go. If you're ready for this, let's go. And you want to stay here, amazing. You come and join one thing and you leave, amazing. I'm not relying on it. So the question to ask yourself is, where are you relying on other people to need to sign up for this one thing for your business to make money? Oh, that's not the vibe. But I know a lot of coaches are operating from that space. And so if there's any piece of that right now for you, it's like, okay, I have awareness to this. How can I clean this up? How can I fix this? Because we cannot be relying on what people do or don't do. But this is a conundrum, because it's like, but Steph, I need people to buy. I get it. There are so many people, but if we're funneling people in, we're building brand and content, we've got a client journey, it's like, that's going to happen. But what one person does or doesn't do during one short-term period, your eggs aren't all in one basket. Your business is set up that it's just going to flow anyways. This mindset will allow you to create better strategy in your business, create better content, deliver better, because you're not relying on what people choose to do in one moment of time. This is a game changer. And I'm really dialing this in because I know a lot of coaches get stuck here. Who here, we have all fallen into this. It's like you show up every day on your social media as if you're just speaking to the 100 people watching your Instagram story. And you're like, well, they didn't buy yesterday, so no one's going to buy from me today. And you just keep thinking about the people who you see are there. I want you to think about yourself as an international brand, an international business, who every day you're putting out content that reaches the world. Every day you're selling your offer that anyone in the world could find and join. Like, there's a night and day difference between that and like, well, I'm going to make a post to the same people again, and I hope I say something different today that they like. But we get so caught up because what is the action that we're all going through every day? You click on Instagram, you see who's there. I get it. But the energy, the potency, the brand, everything evolves when it's like, I have something to share with the world today. The world is going to see it today. What is the piece of content today? What is the way that you sell it today? How do you present your offer today? We have to be thinking like that. The quality goes up, and then you have a better peace of mind because you realize it's not just, the number of people that you see are watching you, which is just only the people you see are watching you. There's way more people than that anyways, right? So I want us to think bigger. When I started my business and there were literally not people watching, I was so focused on creating something big. I was like, well, I'm going to create a commercial. I'm going to create amazing. I'm not saying that you need to do this. You don't, but I was thinking bigger picture, because I'm like, I'm not going to stay small on a day-to-day basis based off of what's in front of me today. I'm going to be focused on the bigger picture. That's going to grow the day-to-day things anyways. And that feels much better, but it's a good way to stay small and feel awful when you're just focused on the little things that aren't happening. So it's this duality of what happens today matters, but also it doesn't matter. Can you hold that? Who's watching you today matters, but it doesn't matter because we're a bigger picture than that. But it does because it matters. This duality people struggle with, because then it's like too far of the extreme of being obsessed with who's there or not, or going way too big where you don't even look at who's there. There's a middle, mic drop. There is a middle. Now, if there's any questions coming up in the chat, put it in the chat, because I will have time to spend a little bit time answers. What was I going to say? Oh, this might be a big wake-up call if you are someone who has seen great success in your coaching business, and now there's a dip. And you notice that in the last little bit, you have maybe stopped doing community building things, or you've stopped doing free trainings, or you've stopped selling and launching the way that you used to because you didn't need to anymore, because there was a time where you didn't need to, and you still got the same results. But now it's like, wait, maybe I need to start nurturing a little bit more. Maybe I need to do some more free masterclasses. Maybe I need to give some love to my Facebook group. Maybe I need to show up on live a little bit more. Maybe I can't just drop a link anymore. 100 million people sign up. Like, maybe there's that. And so whether it's complacency or whatever, I see this happen a lot. Like, I had a 50K month, and now I think that I don't need to launch that same way anymore. And it's like, there's a dip. What happened? We have to still keep putting in the work to hold that sustainability. Or sometimes you don't have to, but then if you notice a dip, it's like, then where are you going to put back the efforts to nurture, right? It's so interesting because I don't think that any one business coach has one specific answer. I don't have one specific answer. I have a lot of insight, and I look at what people are doing. And I like to give a lot of context when I give my advice, because context matters, because every business is different. So I don't know if this is a trend or not. I actually have no idea. But I'm curious. Maybe you have an opinion on it. It's a conversation. Maybe people in the coaching space are buying a little bit differently. Maybe people are using a little bit more time, discernment. Maybe people are maybe people aren't as willing to throw X amount. I don't know. But if that were the case, then what makes someone buy? Trust. Why would someone buy? If someone needs a little more time to decide, why would someone buy? Trust. Do they trust you? If people find you, do you have a lot of opportunities for people to trust you? Do you have a database of free content that they can binge and you're like, oh my God, this is so good. Yes, love her, trust, sign up, let's go, right? Like, the trust piece comes from the value, but also us showing up and being like, I'm real about this. But if we're hiding and we're not consistent, we don't build that trust the same way that someone who's showing up and over delivering nonstop, right? There's something there. So again, it's like the other piece to add in is like, where are you getting in your head that's causing you to not be consistent? Consistency is everything. And that's going to start with our mindset and our outlook on a lot of these things to then show up. Make it about them, not you. Make it about them, not you. Okay. I am just starting my coaching biz. I have my IG and question, where would you start selling? Masterclass, newsletter, podcast stories, all like where to start selling, question from beginner in your world. So what I would suggest doing is I would do masterclasses or live streams that are very valuable trainings. And on the back end of those, I would talk about the offers that you have. You're at a point where people are really building, they need time to build trust with you and really see your expertise. So I would do a lot of like free live streams, trainings, masterclasses, however, in your Facebook group, on Instagram, everywhere. But on the back end of those very valuable pieces of content, just say, and if you want to go deeper, I have this offer, blah, 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 whatever you're selling. That's what I would focus on. I would focus on more nurturing, nurturing on your Instagram feed, nurturing everywhere that you are, your podcast, newsletter, nurturing, but get people on free trainings where they can see you live in action. And they're like, that's why they're going to hire you. Okay. How do you recommend selling on your stories when you've shifted your work and your audience is colder at the moment? So this is going to come back to nurturing. Like, I would make sure that your Instagram feed is very valuable and very specific to the person that you're now selling to. very valuable content and specific to who you're now speaking to. And when it's selling on your stories, like I would play around with all different ways, like put up slides and put the link, put up all the information and put the link, do a live stream, sell on the back end, like all those different opportunities we want to sell on. But it's more about the accumulation of the value that you're giving on your feed, on your stories. That's where people are building the trust. And then they'll buy through the link, or they'll buy on the back end, or they'll buy through the email or whatever. So it's like this ongoing process of nurture and sell in all the different places, but people are going to buy when they're ready. And from whatever touch point, they're like, that's easiest for me to buy through the email, or that's easiest for me to buy here. So it's like this ongoing cycle. But cold audience, they just need nurturing. So feed, but also go beyond feed. And this is where live streams are just so powerful, because it's like everyone is doing feed content all day, every day. And I mean, reels now, when it's you actually speaking, because people can feel your voice, your energy and everything. But like, if it's just feed content all the time, there's no connection. So when people get feed content and connection, it's like, you're the one. Because I feel you, I heard you, I was on the live, you responded to me. Yes, like that piece is so important. Okay. How could consistency look? Do you want to elaborate on what you mean by that? So the people who are killing it, whether it's now or always, they have a brand. It's clear on who they are and what they do. They're audacious AF when it comes to selling and what they're about. And because of those things, they have a hot audience, like people who are ready to buy, and they consistently have a hot audience, whether there's dips in whatever industry sales or not. Okay. Also, the people killing it, and by people, I mean, this is reality, whether it's coaching industry, entrepreneurship, or entrepreneurship in general, is resourceful. So it's like, this is just it. It's like, oh, something's not working. Let me figure it out. Oh, there's a dip. Let me fix it. Like, there's a resourceful energy, but where does that energy come from? That comes from a positive mindset. The way that you speak to yourself matters. The communities and the people and the content that you consume matters. The way that you speak about yourself and your business matters. So the difference between, and watch out, in a couple hours on my Instagram feed, I have a post about this, but the difference between like, there's a dip, like sales are down, something's wrong, versus, oh, I noticed that something is off. Let me look at what's happening. Like the difference of like what we say to ourselves and we don't even realize sometimes, like the energy of like, there's a dip, something's wrong, is like, freeze, now what? I suck. Like that's the energy of that, versus like, oh, sales are lower. I did the same thing as before, so let me figure it out. That is like, that's positivity. That's open to resourcefulness, problem solving, like, and that just feels better. But sometimes we don't even notice our thoughts or what we're saying to ourselves. And if we're saying these so negative things, every day feels like business sucks, business is awful, this is not, and that might not even be your situation, but we create this sometimes without even realizing it. So people who are always going to succeed are people who look for answers, who are resourceful, who are open-minded, and who don't make all of fluctuations in business mean something personal about who they are as a person. And this is where there's room for improvement. I think that's the piece that we need to work on in the industry for sure, right? People who are lacking are most likely lacking brand clarity in their messaging, weak strategy when it comes to selling and offers, inconsistency, and making it all personal, making it all based off of ego of like, if it's down, then I'm not good enough. But you guys, it's also the opposite. Putting the high on a pedestal is just as bad as putting the dip of like, that I'm not good enough. This is why I said earlier, I have never put highs on a pedestal. Some people will argue, I don't celebrate them enough because I'm just like, well, is it possible to replicate this? And it's like, Steph, take a minute to I'm like, yeah, but this is why I'm not frantic in highs or lows, because I'm just like, I'm building something sustainable, right? So we oftentimes put highs on a pedestal we make them mean something so big and there's like one short-term dip, then all of a sudden you're like, I suck. That's not true. The power, the success, the balance is in the middle. And that's where I mean this with strategy. I mean this with money. I mean this with our mindset, is like finding the middle ground is what we want to do. Okay. Let me just scroll through if there was anything specific else that I wanted to share on here. Any thoughts, feedback, ahas in the chat that you want to share? Client journey, over deliver, blah, 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 blah. Okay. If you find yourself in an energy of like things are low right now and you're frustrated with new sales coming in, is anyone in that position on here? I'd love to know. Like with new people, new sales coming in, if you're really in that right now, it is possible that it will take a minute to get back up, and that's okay. What I suggest you focus on is over delivering from a place of wanting to over deliver to your current containers. Give your current places a little more love, whatever that means. Maybe you add in an extra training. Maybe you've got maybe you're a business coach and you're coaching clients and you're like, okay, guys, some things happening. I'm going to do an extra call. You know, like it's just give some extra love from a place of power, not from a place of lack, to your current people, because why not? And it will most likely just keep your heart really strong as you navigate the other things happening in business. You might blow your mind with some of the coaching that you give, and then all of a sudden you have a new thing. Like, stay in your magic, stay in what matters, stay focused on who's in front of you, because that at the end of the day is what matters. Okay. I love the looking for answers don't apply meaning. Yes. So profound. How do you shift the energy of lack to abundance? I mean, there's so many different ways. You guys, I'll answer this in two separate ways. One, if you are choosing to do this, there's no lack. You have decided to build this, there's no lack. You decided, I want to be a coach and have a coaching business. No one's forcing you. You decided that you get to do this. There is no lack in that. So you wake up every day and you're like, I have a dream and something to share with the world, and I'm going to do it. That is there's no lack in that. There's impossible. When it is a dream, a mission in your heart, everything, you don't need numbers. You need what's in you, and you go. We all have that. Now, sometimes we forget that because there's so many things happening in our life and our business. So get back to that if you lost it, and find a way to keep that. So that's my mindset piece of it. And the strategy piece of it is everything I talked about in this training, is build something sustainable. So there's actually no lack. And so you're not actually relying on one thing. You know what I mean? Like that's just the piece. Focus on what's good, focus on what's working, but just this mindset of, I'm building a business, I'm building sustainability, I'm going to do what it takes. Like that kind of energy will keep you focused, positive, and focused on feeling productive and feeling fulfilled. Okay. I've been in a lull for a couple months, but I'm going to keep going. Yes, yes, yes. I decided, yes, there is no lack here. My new affirmation. Thank you, Steph. So key takeaways, key things from today is narrow down on your brand and your content. Get a little more get a little more specific, educational, entertaining. Consistency needs to be there. If it's not there, dial it up. Your feed content, and also maybe this was a sign for a little bit more community building in your world, whatever that means for you. Okay. Your offers and your sales strategy, look at your current offer structure and just say, do I feel like there's anything missing? If yes, what is something that you want to add? It's most likely a different kind of price point. Okay. Maybe there's not. Some of you might not need to add something right now, but just things to think about, and really look at, okay, is the way that I'm selling, the way that I used to sell that was working, is that no longer working? Then how can you think about getting innovative with your sales process, whether that's, adjusting the time frame of how long you launch things, adding different touch points into your launches, bonuses, different price points, master classes, things like that. And are you nurturing and selling to an email list? What does that look like? This is just business. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is building a brand. This is building an audience. This is having good offers. This is nurturing your people, and it's creating an ongoing funnel of all of it. If you're in a dip right now or not, doesn't really matter, or you're here listening to this for whatever reason, most likely things were highlighted that you know in your business are lacking. And those are the things to just be like, okay, let me start working on those. And it's not about urgency. It's about, if I work on those and I refine those, then my entire business is going to grow, because all these pieces matter all the time. And it's the accumulation of all of them. There was never going to be one secret thing of like, do this. You can do it all. So it's this balance of like, go do something that feels right to do and add, and let it be fun and spontaneous, but also have this mindset of like, if it doesn't work, I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to keep refining, and I'm going to be consistent. That's really the piece of this. And if you make this a priority, there's going to be little dips, or maybe bigger dips or bigger highs, but there's going to be a consistent flow no matter what. And that's what I want you to get. Okay. We often think it's going to be one big high and just a big high. That's not how any business is, and that's not how life is. So it's like this mindset applied to your strategy, but this mindset applied to your life and your business. So you're calm, cool, and collected through all of it, because you're doing the things you know you need to do, and it's all building over time. Okay. So that is what I wanted to share with you guys today. Look at your sales strategy, look at your content, like dial it up a little bit more, get more specific, get more loud. Like, you are here for a reason. You have work that is meant to change the world. You have lives to change. So let's go. Let's go, right? Dial in these things, get excited. You've got children, you've got amazing humans, you've got these people, like just go. This is what I want to see for all of us, is just bigger, better refinement, taking care of yourself and your mindset, no big extremes, learn, innovate, get support, stay surrounded by people who support your mindset, where you're going. This is what it is, okay? If there's a dip right now, I don't have enough data to be like, this is why a dip is happening and this and this. I just think if there's dips happening for people right now, it's because something that used to work for you is not working the same. So it's either the sales strategy is different, a certain kind of offer is different, or you have not been nurturing your audience to grow the type of person who would buy the offer that now has the dip, or maybe it's all three. So this is why it's about consistently working on all of those pieces. So then it's like, it's always working, and there will be highs and lows, but they're not massively extreme. And even if they are, you're okay, because you built in sustainability. You do this, and I get Gary V on you. You do this and you repeat it for 10 years straight. Call me back and tell me it worked, because this is just the truth. So I wanted to deliver this to you guys today. I hope that this gave you some value. You know what you're walking away with, what you're going to do. Some of you were here for the vibe, and I love it either way. I'm going to go look at the Facebook and see how everything is happening there. If you're here on the Zoom, this replay will be in the Facebook group, It's Exogenity, and it will stay there. Thank you for spending time with me today. I'm sending you so much love, and I hope you have the best rest of your day ever. And just keep doing your thing. Go, 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 go. It matters. It matters. Just go. Okay. So I love you all so much. I'll see you wherever we are connected next. I'm sending you so much love. Bye, guys.